The average young man today is undereducated, overweight, he's depressed, he's anxious, he's sad, he can't get girls, and it feels like society has been doing this thing intentionally to men. If you think about it, like these are men that I basically help, and on a daily basis, it just feels like the young men these days are basically becoming dumber and dumber by the day. And I'm thinking about it. If I'm to just blame just one thing, what should it be? What's that one thing I can blame? If I'm to blame one thing for how society is becoming dumber, I'll call it our diet, our physical diet, and then our mental diet. You see, no matter what you do as a young man, if your physical diet and your mental diet are fucked, there is nothing you can do basically. So, what happens to our physical diet, right? But you fix just one thing in your life. If you fix your diet, everything is fine. Your physical diet, what do we have today? We have lots of what? High carbs. Now, a big problem with these high carbs are I'll call them the what? Maybe should I call them what? Food agencies. You see, we used to believe that these food agencies are designed to help the population think about nutrition, but apparently that's not the case. These food agencies are simply puppets for the rich guys, for the big pharmaceutical industries and for the food industry. So guess what? The food industry will try all its possible best to make sure that the food agencies do their bidding for them. So guess what? They will literally tell people to consume high carbs. Now, if you're somebody who understands nutrition, one thing that you realize is high carbs, right? Just guess what? High carbs itself, it gives you what? Energy. Like after energy, what else? Nothing. But that energy it gives to you leads to what? High carbs a lot of the time leads to overconsumption. The more you consume carbs, the more profits they make. You see, it's so bad that we have companies that enjoy profiting from young men being stupid. And my mission is to make sure that the young man today feels as empowered as possible. So we have a problem of overconsumption of what? High carbs. Now, these same high carbs, what happens when you overconsume them? You have a bigger problem. You begin to what? Feel lazy. Have you ever had that feeling where you eat like, even though you eat like mid size of carbs, you just feel completely tired. You feel brain tired. Apparently, as the fact that it is giving you energy, it's also giving you energy crash. Somewhere around the same time, sometimes it's giving you energy crash, and that energy crash basically, I say, affects the brain. So if you're somebody who requires a lot of brain work to do, your key solution here is to fast. Now, another problem is with these high carbs is they know that if you consume certain kinds of foods, guess what? One, you will be healthy. Two, you'll be able to think clearly. And because they don't want you to think clearly, they want you to always having brain fog. Guess what they do? They preach against protein. They preach against protein. For example, they preach against protein. They preach against what? Beef, meat, eggs. Because the less people consume protein, guess what? The less smarter they are. Basically, protein has what? A lot of brain benefits. Guess what? So they will barely promote food that improve brain capacity. They will barely promote it because they don't want the average man. They don't want you thinking. They want to keep coming back for more. So this is their goal, for you to have high carbs. Now, I want you to pause this video if you can. Just Google any of the FDA's or that's in Europe's any food or nutrition agency. Look at the people who head those agencies. Ask yourself, can you be like them? Do you like the kind of body they have? I can bet you. Or do those people look healthy? Now, if that is the person who is giving you health advice, would you follow it? There's a high chance no. There's a reason they put people that are dead there. Because those people don't think. They're completely like what? Brain crashed a lot of the time. So they're mostly like fat, slow people. If you see somebody who is healthy, he's most likely not going to be there because he will detect all of the rubbish that they are doing. He will detect the stupid lifestyle choices people are making. So what I tell you is, one thing I always do here is in this case is I tell guys, instead of fasting, have an eating window. So my eating window basically is what? This is my own personal though. 12 to 8 p.m. Right? And I don't eat anything before 12, right? And maybe my last meal is about 8 p.m. Some people do 12 to 6. Bruv, I did 12 to 8. I'm fair already. Now, what I do to keep my appetite is what? I use coffee. Now think about it. Think of how much propaganda there is about coffee. Because they know that coffee helps to what? Hold your appetite. They know this. That coffee helps to hold your appetite. But guess what? They just don't want you on something that will help you. They want you to keep being hooked on whatever they want you to get hooked on. So fast. Then another thing I would say is what? Protein. Remember when they say protein is the building block of the brain and the building block of the body. So what that means is tilt your food stuff more towards protein, right? Find the healthy balance between protein and other meals. But again, speaking of, if you want energy, quote unquote, your best source of energy are from fruit. Is that bad that people have run propaganda on fruit? I can tell you something. The current media we have today is basically a propaganda machine. Basically, the mainstream media, even the movies, this whole entire woke culture is designed to keep you as a young man weak as fuck. So your fruit, your best consuming fruit for your energy. Little rice, little potatoes, right? I'm going to speak against these things completely. But the thing is, the problem with carbs is overconsumption, and overconsumption puts money in their pockets. That is not going to help you. So for fasting, you should have an eating window, and what you can have coffee, only coffee, black coffee alone, no sugar, no milk. Because heck, milk is not as healthy. You see, take it from me, right? I've noticed this in how to detect healthy meals. This is my personal observation, so you can use it for yourself. This is how you can detect healthy options. One, the people who have like the best healthy options, they barely advertise, because the people who advertise have like their brand, and for the brand to maximize profits, they have to cut out corners somewhere, and those corners affect your health. Those corners affect you yourself. So if I say anything, right, if it has a brand name, I become very skeptical, because why? Brands are for profit. If it's a brand for profit, my trust level goes down just a little bit. If it's mass produced, it goes down further drastically if it is mass produced. And if it has a name that I cannot pronounce, but the point is limit this thing. So the keyword there is to limit your carbs, fruits. You can, one harsh truth is you can never overconsume fruits. Don't believe any lies they tell you along these lines, right? Again, protein, have high protein, right? Again, don't be afraid of eggs, right? Meat. Now you see people that talk about eggs, they talk about cholesterol. I can tell you something for a fact that cholesterol is to help your brain. Now think about it. The more eggs you eat, the more, what they call it, the smarter you become, the more muscles you build. So what that means is, as a young man, you should not joke with your protein, right? Eggs, meat. Generally, never joke with your protein. Again, so now the key thing, the next thing now is the mental diet. This is the one that I feel like a lot of people heavily underestimate. Your mental diet. It's so bad that I have to clean it and give it its own special corner, right? Your physical diet, and your mental diet. So when we say mental diet is what? 'Cause obviously this goes into your brain. Oh, forget it. Part of it goes into your brain, but this basically forms your ideas in your head. Have you ever caught yourself thinking about rubbish, asking yourself, where did this come from? At that chance, you allow that idea, that thought to slip into your head. Sometimes it's through your content you watch. So what happens is, where do we get our mental diet from? Content. These days is content as a major culprit. The news is I think they said the news is a man-made depressant. The man-made depressant. We have your content. Hello, ma.
Morning, how now?
Fine, ma. Hello, ma. Please, can I call you back? I'm in the middle of something. Can I call you back? I'm in the middle of something.
All right, that's
Yeah, I had to go and like pick up a call. So yeah, for the content we consume these days, right? The content that goes viral is mostly never benefits the people, because why? The people want something to entertain themselves, and guess what? The biggest problem you have today is entertainment. It's good to be to entertain yourself, but remember when I talk about consumption of carbs, carbs are mostly sweet, they are enjoyable, they're things that you can easily overconsume on. Guess what? These two, content and virality, are always overconsumed. Then when it is overconsumed, guess what? Puts money in their pockets. Ads. What it means is that the dumber they make the average man, the more profits, the more ads they can sell to him, the more profits they can make off what the young man today, simply because they believe that he's getting dumber by the day. So viral content, no. Then you basically you have viral content, you have stupid content. You see, let's even talk about the stupid creators. Have you ever wondered that why some people who lack talent, people who lack proper value to the world, all of a sudden are becoming insanely rich, insanely powerful, insanely influential, just because they do dumb shit? And you are out there promoting their dumb shit. And again, think about it, that somebody who has what, 4 million followers on YouTube, 4 million subscribers on YouTube here, is not He's basically broke in his apartment, right? But somebody who has what 7,000 subscribers is out there. He's winning slowly in his own life. He's cashing out. And you yourself, if you look at ask yourself, who do you want? One looks like he's winning. One is actually winning, like genuinely winning. I'll tell you something is, be very careful of the creators you consume. So that means is be intentionally, right? And this is where the idea of social media maxing comes in, right? Social media maxing. So let me give you a story, a very interesting one. So for those of you that watch my vlog, my everyday vlog, by the way, I vlog every day, you will see that OJ, I didn't vlog this because I had not started vlogging then yet. So I and OJ, my guy that you see me with often in my vlogs, we were learning how to swim. And I noticed that she was trying to compete with me in swimming. At first, I was like, what? Why the fuck am I competing? But I also noticed that it's not just a competition, it's that he was feeling very bold. Mind you, I'm taller than him, I'm bigger than him, I'm more athletic than him. But because it took it as a challenge, he now went on social media, and in social media, Instagram Explore page was strictly about swimming. What that means is almost every day he's getting one little swim tip. Almost every day from short form content. He's watching it, thinking how to move faster than me, he's swimming fast. And me, I was like, okay, you know what? Let me now get into it. And it completely changed the way I was swimming because I was getting what? If tips. Because the way you move your hand in the pool, the way you bring your head out, all those little tips basically improved in my swimming. Now, that according to two of us, there's none as a better swimmer. It's just that because I'm more athletic than him. At first, for every stroke, is ahead of me because he takes it more personal. Me, I take it to be much more recreational. So it's a matter of time before like take over and like winning. Because by the way, I'm more athletic. I'm doing MMA and the rest. So if you consume intentionally, that's where social media maxing comes in. This is where you are consuming for your own benefit. And this happens when you have a goal in your mind. When you have a goal in your mind, it becomes very easy. It becomes better for you to consume socially. Again, when it comes to I think let's make a separate video on how to be intentional about consuming content online. For example, is one thing you should avoid in this life is distractions. Avoid distractions basically. Again, I think even here some distractions. Now, because things like if you're on YouTube wants to pull your attention multiple directions. This is why if you're very intentional about your social media consumption, it's very difficult for the algorithm to sway you away, except you are a target, like you're an actual target. But guess what? You are an actual target. Young men are a target, but if you single yourself out and be consumed intentionally, it's very difficult for them to target you, except maybe your name is in their database. Now, news, cut it out. Let me tell you something, right? If people that watch the news will tell you, oh, you need to be up to date with what's happening around the world, guess what? You don't need jack shit. You don't need that. You don't need it at all. You don't need, see, if 10% of what happens on the news happens to you, you'll be dead by now. You'll be dead. But this is the honest truth. Anything that is very important to you, so far you have friends, let them watch the news. If they know that's important to you, they will tell you. Even if you don't have friends, if you have colleagues, just workplace colleagues, students, friends, just basic people that you communicate with, so far you don't live under a rock, the news that's going to affect you will come to you, right? All because basically the news these days has been weaponized to constantly put people at fear and manipulate people. See, and this is very important because I used to be against Donald Trump. Talk about how Donald Trump was racist, he's a fucked up president, and left and right. I'm not here to convince you about Donald Trump. But ever since I did my own research on Donald Trump, I kind of realized that he may not be the best person, but a lot of the ideas I heard about him were just outright false, fucking lies and stuff. So, for the news, cut it out completely. You don't need it. Then for distractions, be careful of your distractions because distractions look very interesting, right? Distractions look very interesting. And then, but guess what? They steal everything you have. So, you can only have these ideas in your head if you have a physical goal you're trying to achieve, right? Always have goals, always have purpose that you're working towards, right? Now, this is what I can tell you today, that basically if you fix any of these things you see in green, trust me, one thing I'll guarantee is you will be less stupid, 100% guaranteed. Fasting. So if you basically want to give one word to everything I have said today, if you want to give one solution, it is simply, what can I write it? Fasting. Fast physically, it will improve your mental health. Trust. Hey, they even tell you that the food you eat, it's also part of your fuck shit. Yep, I've got to say that the food you eat causes mental health problems, but they never say this because the moment they say it, companies are losing billions of dollars. Like I say, the average young man today is seen as a profit center, not as a human being, not as a person who has a future. You just see him as a human, as what? Someone to profit off. So I basically believe that if you fast physically and mentally, right, and you consume things intentionally, my two solutions are one, fasting, and two, intentional. I think I'm start planning these videos because everything is off script. Intentional consumption. And these two things happen, they best come when you have a goal that your mind is working towards. When you have a goal, you have a vision, you have a purpose. So this is always my message for men. Men, there is no way you can achieve fasting and intentional consumption if you don't have a goal you're working towards, if you don't have a vision you see yourself executing, and if you lack a purpose. So guys, that's it. My name is Tony Reye. I dedicate my content to help young men all over the world basically up their game. Because young men these days, if you are born a man, automatically you are made to feel guilty. I tell you, nope, fuck that shit. You don't have to. You're not supposed to be guilty. You're supposed to be out there and be a man. So yeah, if you like this video, or you like the ideas I share in this video, do somebody a favor and share with them, because that act of sharing the video will make the channel grow. I'll make me realize that I'm helping somebody and helping more guys out there. So thank you very much. Talk to you soon, and bye for now.